My Hero's ending is one of the best endings I've ever seen coming out of Shonen Jump recently. Did I say recently? I mean just like in general, because I like this ending a lot more than Naruto's, Bleach's, so many others. This entire epilogue has been a masterful wrap-up. So we start the last chapter with like the same thing that Midoriya started the first episode with, which was people are not born equal. Bringing up all the differences and whatnot that we have with each other, but despite those differences, we should still be able to empathize with one another. And as like we're getting this narration, we're also seeing some of the characters that we knew kind of grown up, because I forgot to mention, everything in this final chapter takes place 8 years later. So everybody has graduated and they're in their 20s. Around like 24 to 25. Unless you're Bakugo, in which case you'd probably be 26. But anyway, as you can see, Kota is now a student at UA, and since he's saying Deku Sensei, you now know that Midoriya is a teacher at UA. So no, he's not like flipping burgers and doing whatever else that people were making jokes about. And honestly, this joke was always like really stupid to me. I feel like this generation, y'all be making jokes that don't make sense, because you do know that like if you don't have superpowers, you can do more than flip burgers, right? Even in episode 1, All Might said that without a quirk, you could still make a fine police officer. Like, why are we acting like this dude would have had no options? It's just a joke. Well, it's a bad joke. Like, understand that jokes are supposed to have like some form of like thought to them so that they can be funny. A joke can't be funny if it's just stupid, but I'm getting lost in the weeds here. Let me just talk about this final chapter. We get to see that some people are like wildly successful now. Like Hatsume has her own company and she's a genius designer. Makes sense. She was making some of the best stuff in the entire series. Even LaBrava and Gentle doing like super good right now. So it's nice to see everybody has like moved along and they're all doing very well. Except for this dude who wants to be a hero, but there's like different things happening with hero society nowadays. In current society, the rate for new villains to pop up has been decreasing, so it's like only the best of the best are making it as a hero. So now it's no longer about you having to have a quirk to be a hero. You need to have a very good quirk to be a hero. And that's what's eating this dude die up. He's like reminiscing on the past, like when he was a kid, people always talked about how they wanted to be like Endeavor, All Might, Best Jeanist, Deku, Great Explosion God, Dynamite, and Shoto, which is basically saying these 6 are the best 6 of all time in Japan. And it looks like Bakugo got to keep his long name, but after what he did against All For One, he earned that Great Explosion God title. We see Shoji's been doing a lot of good work with like the heteromorph relations all in society all across Japan. So much that he even got a Peace Prize for doing so. And then you have Uraraka making waves with their court counseling expansion project. So that, they're like expanding the rate in which they do court counseling so that nobody falls through the cracks. And I really love that these characters are taking what they saw in these villains that were just wronged by society. And like, you know what? I had to stop that villain, but let me fix these things in society so that that villain never happens again. Because if you saw Uraraka last chapter, she was absolutely torn up at what happened with Toga. Also with hero team-ups, I will say that this was probably one of the nastiest teams you can make. 8 years in the future, I'm going to say that Uraraka is probably like a nasty hand-to-hand specialist now. And with Ida's speed, Frappa's utility, and Yaoyorozu's utility, like, what can't they do? As we see, Aries now a student at school too. And then we finally get to Eraserhead and Midoriya because they're peers now at UA being, teachers. Aizawa's letting Midoriya know, like, look at your childhood friend. He's finna drop in the rankings again because he's still out here yelling at people. And then Aizawa says, now I'm pretty sure Todoroki will shoot ahead in the rankings. Which tells me that Bakugo was higher than him, but he keeps dropping down while Todoroki keeps going up. And Todoroki's been doing so much work that people don't even compare him to his father no more. They're just like, oh, that's Shoto. So it's good to see that he branched out of being in his father's shadow because he never wanted to be like him in the first place. And Midoriya says that they're like going to be surpassing Kamui Woods and Mount Lady soon, and last I checked, Kamui Woods was in the top 10. And since Midoriya is saying that he might be able to go toe-to-toe with Mirio because Mirio is the #1 hero now, I'm going to assume that means that like Bakugo may be like number 4, about to drop to number 5. Shoto might be like number 5, about to raise to number 4. Number 3 I'm going to assume is like Hado, number 2 Sun Eater, and then number 1 Mirio. At least that's what I'm speculating here because they didn't give us all the names. But Aizawa keeps asking Midoriya, like, are you lonely? Because, everybody else is out doing all this crazy hero stuff and, you're just here being a teacher. To which he does feel a bit lonely, but he's always been a hero nerd, so he's just happy to see all of his friends doing cool stuff that he could just gush about. And then leaving work, he sees, like, these kids playing around and one trips, and in typical Midoriya fashion, he still leaps to go help the kid. And that's where he meets Dai, who was also leaping to help the kid, but he just fell short. And Midoriya is like this legendary hero, so like for this kid to see Midoriya in the flesh, he's like, wait, you a real person? Like, what? Deku the hero. Cool to see my boy having like this type of recognition out in the world. And so of course this boy Dai asks Midoriya like, can he be a hero even though his quirk is not that great? But after muttering for a bit, Midoriya's like, don't worry about it. The way that you jumped for that kid before he fell, that alone means that you can be a hero too. And we get like this powerful scene with Midoriya and this new kid in front of the All Might statue telling him that you can be a hero. And then he's like, this is the story about how we all became the world's greatest hero. And that would be the end if All Might didn't grab the text and destroy it. And he's like, hey, I've been waiting for you, young Midoriya. And I'm not gonna lie, this next part of the chapter actually got some, it made me shed some tears. These were like happy tears, because I was not expecting the story to do this for Midoriya. All Might comes to him and he's like, I got a surprise for you. Like, this is my data from the fight that I had with All For One 8 years ago, and it opened up some crazy possibilities. Quirks keep evolving, technology keeps getting better, and you already have experience using multiple quirks, unlike I did. So All Might's like, I want to give you this suit so that we can get data from you. And Midoriya is like, well, I mean, that seems wildly expensive. I can't afford that on the teacher's salary. And this next part is what had like the droplets coming. All Might's like, you don't got to worry about that, because with the friends that we have in the US, plus Hatsume, you know, that famous inventor now, and then all the alumni of UA pulled together money, all coordinated by Bakugo, of all people. Almost like, the secret's out. Your body still move on its own, right? And then he tells him, like, this suit that I'm about to give you is another thing that you earned, fair and square. And we got this cool shot of Bakugo, like, let's go. Like, bringing him along, like, dude, the full circleness of Bakugo as a character, he is one of the best written characters in Shonen Jump. Prove me wrong. Going from a dude that's bullying Midoriya early in the series, telling him to kill himself instead of trying to become a hero, to being the dude that not only put his life on the line several times to save him in the face of danger, but also put forth all the money and effort and coordinated with the US and other companies to make sure that Midoriya got a suit so that he can be a hero once again. If you still hate Bakugo, you're not human. You're not human. And now there's like some giant landslide that all the students are gonna go and help on. And while Midoriya's looking back, he like sees a vestige of Shigaraki. Because the last thing Shigaraki did say to Midoriya was to do your best. And then we get this dope spread with everybody in like their adult hero costumes and everything. We know that Bakugo's other arm is fully paralyzed now, but he's like, it can still sweat. So he just threw a cannon on it so that he can still, make explosions from it. Midoriya has like a teched out suit that still looks like his old suit, but just some slight differences, and he has a cape now. Like, this was the ending I did not know I needed, because I thought, it was just going to kind of end the way it started with him having no quirk, but having this like new appreciation, being able to teach other people how to be great heroes. The fact that he can still be a great hero himself in the process, chef's kiss ending. Just chef's kiss ending. And now, I've seen some people say that Horikoshi retconned the series because it's supposed to be like Midoriya becoming the world's greatest hero, not everybody becoming the world's greatest heroes with an S. And to that, no, it was not retcon. I just don't think you understand what makes Midoriya the world's greatest hero. What makes Midoriya the world's greatest hero is the fact that he inspires others to be the best versions that they can be. And the way he does that is by being the best version of himself. Like in the first chapter when he went to go save Bakugo, that inspired All Might, who thought he couldn't do anything in the moment, to take action. And then that inspired Bakugo to save Midoriya later in the future because he saw what it is to be a true hero, to run before thinking. Midoriya doing his best to save Kota inspired Kota to use his water quirk on Muscular to distract him so that Midoriya could finish him off. Midoriya saving Eri encouraged her to use her power to help him take down Chisaki. And of course, Midoriya wanting to save Tenko Shimura, a boy who had no choice but to be evil because he was literally groomed to it by this dude. He says it right here. Midoriya was at least able to save that little Tenko and give him one for all, so that while Midoriya was taking down All For One from the outside, Shigaraki can take him down from the inside, becoming the hero that he always told his mother that he wanted to be. So Midoriya gave him a chance to live his dream. The reason why it is the story about how they all became the greatest heroes is because Midoriya inspired everybody to put their best foot forward. All Might was so strong that when he showed up, it was like, all right, everybody else can just sit back and let him handle it all. Midoriya's not as perfect as All Might, so he will struggle, but he will still put in 110%, which forces other people to put in 100%. So if you didn't get it yet, by Midoriya becoming the world's greatest hero, he inspires everybody else to become the greatest heroes they could possibly be. And that's what this world needed to move forward so that it doesn't end up the way that it was before.